Hey, you all. Welcome back to Moments with Miss Amy. I am so glad you joined me. So, today I'm going to talk to you about something really special. Today is mine and my husband Ken's 32nd wedding anniversary. We got married February 18th, 1989. I know some of you weren't born until well after that point, but I wanted to share with you how we've managed to make it 32 years and how excited we are about our future and what's going on. Can you believe being married that long and still being in love? Well, let me tell you, it is possible. It really is. And so I'm going to share just some of our little strategies, techniques, things that we've learned over the years that have helped us out, and hopefully some information that will help you if you're looking at getting married or if you are married, and just something that will give you a little bit of insight, maybe make you laugh, and maybe even be something that will help to encourage you that love is out there and it is possible. All right. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is how important that it is to communicate. That is something that Ken and I learned early on. It was very important because I automatically thought I knew what he was thinking, right? I mean, he must be thinking the exact same thing that I am. And we learned quickly that wasn't always the case. And so learning how to be able to talk to each other and communicate was vital. There are some key points with communication, though. Number one, never try to have a serious talk if you guys are hungry or super tired. We learned that the hard way. And so it's so important to make sure that you choose the right time and the right mood to have the conversation and be able to talk about whatever it is that happens to be bothering you, worrying you, stressing you out, making you angry. I don't know, whatever's happening. Make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity for this to turn out to be a good conversation. So, the next thing that we learned was how important it was to stay committed, to remember that marriage for us is a commitment and that there was no plan B. It was kind of a blessing for us because I was from Northern Michigan, he was from New York State. We met in Ohio through my brother and then ended up, after we got married, moving to Ohio, which is where his job was. Because of this, we didn't have family sitting right over our shoulder to help us solve every little problem or to run to when things weren't going absolutely amazing. We learned how to work through them together because we had each other, and that's what we had. So we learned how to be able to figure out problems together, solve them. That didn't mean that we didn't ever call home to our parents and ask for help or advice on something, but it did mean that the two of us would talk about it and work through it and stay committed to our goal of a long and healthy, happy marriage. So, along with that, we also made sure that as time went on, we were careful to protect our marriage. We made sure that we never put ourselves into positions that might jeopardize our relationship. Now, what does that mean? What it pretty much means is making sure that he wasn't going out and into situations where he would be alone with single women and I would be home and feeling jealous, and the same thing on my side. I showed him respect and he showed me love. And that's another thing to be able to make sure that you want to be doing in your relationship. In the beginning, I thought that love was the most important thing for him as well as for me. But a lot of times for a guy, they feel love when they're treated with respect. I didn't realize that. It was something that I learned over the years in him too. It's kind of incredible. There's actually a Bible scripture that talks about it. And it just kind of blew my mind to realize scripturally God was guiding us already. And I ended up learning it later on from a personal development book. But here we go. It's Ephesians 5:33. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. And so it's kind of wild to learn it in that way. Like I said, after I'd learned it in a personal development book that was giving marriage pointers, then I read it in the Bible and I'm like, why had I not caught that before? It made so much sense. Showing respect to your spouse is something that, like I said, is totally important, but it's something that you have to be intentional about doing. It's very easy to talk over another one, or it's very easy to not give them an opportunity to give their opinion on something, just to drive straight ahead thinking they're going to want to do what you want to do, or they're going to believe what you believe. Sometimes you have to stop, have that communication that I spoke about, and make sure that you guys are both comfortable and are both happy with whatever decisions are being made. Don't just assume that because he likes raspberry jam that he wants everything raspberry, raspberry danishes, raspberry tea. You will quickly learn that's not the case. Yeah, that was actually reality. It did happen to me. So anyways, another thing that we had decided in our relationship, and this is from learning from other mentors and people that we respected, was to make sure we took time for each other. That meant even when we had children, we still went on dates. I know, we're married and we date, but you know what? That is such a vital key. Because the thing is, by taking time out for a date, we're showing our children a great example of how to have relationships. By taking time out for a date, it gives us a chance to talk about some things, our future, or even things that are kind of heavy that we need to talk about alone and away from the children. The great thing about dates is they don't have to be super expensive. What's really amazing is Ken and I both love Olive Garden, and Olive Garden is not the cheapest place to eat, but it is a decent price and it's amazing food, right? But it's really funny because neither one of us could probably sit and pinpoint exact dates that we had at an Olive Garden that was super special. Yet the other day, we happened to be in a town a little ways from here, and one time we had a date in a park. And when we drove down that road and we saw that park, Ken says to me, "Hey, we had a date there." It was during a time that the finances just really weren't high. And so what we had done is gone through and got fast food, went to this park thinking we were going to sit at a picnic table and have a date. Lo and behold, there were no picnic tables there. So we literally had a picnic on top of the hood of the car. It was so much fun and we had a great time. And here it is years later and we remembered it. So that was really neat. So just a pointer. Make sure when you take your date that you're not breaking the bank. A date, especially if you're doing them weekly, which we love to do, doesn't always happen, but at least once or twice a month is great to be able to strive towards. But you don't want it to be a situation that's taking up so much of your money that you're now feeling stressed about date night. Make sure that you're careful about how you do it. We did, and you add variety as well. The excitement's kind of gone if every single time you go on a date, you're going to Texas Roadhouse. I love Texas Roadhouse, but not to eat there every date night. So you want to make sure that you talk about it and figure out, where do you want to go this time? Plan for your next time. It gives you something to look forward to. Let me see. I had some other pointers that I wanted to share with you, and y'all know me with my notes on papers, right? So, yes. Remember why you got married in the first place. I am going to tell you all there are going to be times in any relationship. Ken and I, we know there have been times that we have to really stop and remember why we got married. Because in this moment, it's kind of a hard thing to do sometimes. Well, one of the best ways to do it is another scripture that I love for so many areas, but it works out great for marriage. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Now, that's a great scripture to bring to mind when you're looking at your spouse and you're thinking, yeah, I'm not happy in this moment. Stop. Think about, why did you fall in love with them in the first place? What are some things of excellence of your spouse that you can think of? What are some things that's really commendable, lovely, true, and pure? I know I can go back and I can think of a memory that goes all the way back before we were married. My husband, when I first met him, was actually dating another girl in another state. We met, got talking, and he actually told me about her. It was something because I thought, here you are in another state. Back then, we didn't have social media. I would have never known about her if he hadn't spoke about her and made sure to show respect for her with how he was being respectful and treating me. Well, I was really impressed with that because there's a lot of trustworthiness and honesty that comes right there with that. So, gotta tell you honest, once I heard that they broke up, yep, I made sure to be at my brother's so I could get a chance to get to know him more. Because you know what? It's important that the person that you choose to live the rest of your life with is trustworthy and honest. It's also important that the person that you choose to live the rest of your life with is someone that you're happy with before you get married. And now all of us look at someone and we think, oh, this could be a little bit better or that could be a little bit better. But getting married, once you get that ring on your finger, trust me, that's not going to be a time that everything's going to change and improve. If there's a lot of red flags in any relationship before you head into marriage, you want to fix it. Because it's going to go. It's one of those things, if you've got this suitcase full of insecurities and problems, and you go into a new relationship, your suitcase is going with you. And it's going to open at some point, and you really don't want it to open and blow up and be really awful. So that's something for you to take care of on your own, of your own personal things. But it's also something to realize that maybe it's not a situation you should jump right into if both of you have big suitcases full of baggage that you need to work on. Honestly, I got to tell you, that little tidbit was from my son. So pretty impressed, an 18-year-old that was able to describe it to me that way. And I realized, wow, smart kid. Takes after his mama. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, his dad and I both are super proud of him because you know what? It is true. Making sure that you are going into a relationship with your best foot forward is the best thing you can do for that relationship to last and to grow and to be healthy. So make sure that, like I said, you have communication. Make sure that your communication is in a good time and that you guys aren't starving or super tired. But you know, there's another thing with communication that I forgot to tell you earlier that I'm going to throw in now, and that is communication, especially if you have something heavier that you guys are discussing, needs to be done privately. Okay, y'all? Do not try to have that little confrontation, that little battle, that little disagreement, anything in front of family, friends, co-workers, okay? You want to make sure that the outside world is seeing the love and respect that you have for each other. Now, does that mean that all marriages are, have to be perfect or they're not going to work? No, for goodness sake, no. But I know that for my husband and I, that there have been times that we've had some challenges and we've needed to sit down and really discuss it. But it definitely wasn't something to do in front of my mother-in-law, okay? It definitely wasn't something to do even in front of our children, because a lot of times when the children see you having a real deep discussion, it can cause them to have a little fear and anxiety. Now, that doesn't mean that you never have any talks in front of them, because that too is important. But it's not important for those little ears to be hearing you figuring out finances together in a challenging way with your spouse, and they're worried about what happens next. You can have that discussion, and you can come to the children later and say, hey, Mom and I figured out that, for your birthday this year, we're going to do this kind of party rather than the one that was more expensive. Things like that. Just making sure that you have that united front in front of the children, but also making sure that, like I said, you're not having heavy discussions in front of others that may turn around and try to help you when it's between the two of you. So, yeah, the biggest thing that I can tell you is it is not easy. I gotta tell you. And Ken, if he was here with me, he would totally agree, okay? Marriage takes work. It takes effort. It takes intentionality. But you know what? It is so worth it. And when you do all those things and you look at your spouse with love and respect, and when you work together towards your future, you know what? It gets better and better. So I got to go get ready because my husband's taking me away for the weekend for our anniversary. So y'all, thank you so much for joining me for Moments with Miss Amy. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.